everyone, I am Lil, I am 16, and I have been diagnosed with diabetes for 6 years now. Okay, what's the big deal? Everyone knows a person or two with diabetes. It's not something really exotic, and everyone knows what it is. Or not. Believe me, if you think better, you will actually find out that apart from avoiding eating too much sugar, you don't know much about diabetes. This is the story of my life that will help you find out a bit more. I was an absolutely usual kid, and as it often happens, everything went fine until one morning. One morning I fell down the stairs while I was in a hurry for school bus. I sprained my ankle, and instead of taking me to school, my scared parents took me to the hospital. While we were going, I explained to them that I had fallen down because I had blurry vision, and I didn't feel any better. I was also extremely thirsty. This alerted my parents at once, so the doctor examined me with 2 complaints. He had 2 bits of news for me, the good one and the bad one. Good news was that my ankle would be okay in no time. Bad news was that my blood sugar was sky high, and after several analyses, I was diagnosed with diabetes type 1, an incurable disease. What did it mean? To me, it was just an odd-sounding word, but the doc explained it to me very vividly. Imagine you are in the middle of a seesaw. Seesaw board is your blood sugar level. In order to keep stable, you need to keep the balance. But it will never be stable on its own. It will go up and down, and you need to do a lot of job to keep it more or less balanced. And if it goes too up or too down, you will fall down and go to the hospital. This is basically the concept of diabetes. You need to dedicate your life to strict control of your blood sugar levels and keeping it within the acceptable range. Otherwise you will fall down and go to the hospital, or something much worse. This was a shock more to my parents than me. My mom was totally lost, not knowing what to do, where to start. I was actually cool, you know? Even with the seesaw metaphor, it is still very abstract. It is later that I realized how limiting diabetes is. I received a brand new glucose meter, and I was to check blood 6 to 7 times a day. I had to measure the numbers I saw there and take the needed action. That was either insulin injection if it was too high, or taking a candy, a glass of juice, or whatever sweet if it was too low. When you are 10, it's a quest you are not ready for. My mom did it at the beginning, but she said that at some point, I would have to take care of that myself. What effects did it have in my life? First, it was embarrassing. I had a specialized kit that I had to carry with me, and I had to take it out wherever I was and make strange manipulations in order to check my sugar level. It attracted lots of unnecessary attention from my classmates who asked what it was 100 times a day over and over again. They were even laughing at me. Sure, an injection is a very funny thing, but after all, they got accustomed. Or grew up. Or both. Second, it was disappointing. I adore candies, and the idea that from now on I had to take a strict control of my diet was heartbreaking. You have to calculate carbohydrates and evaluate every tiny lollipop you dare eat. I remember every time someone of my family took a cookie, I came up asking, "May I have one as well?" I already knew the response, but I still hoped maybe that time I could. And last but not least, it was scary. When you start your path as a diabetes patient, you just don't realize that something dangerous is happening, so you are not too obsessive about it. Not until one day you have a low sugar crisis or simply hypo, and you find yourself absolutely disoriented like a zombie trying to eat anything you can reach. Or when you forget your kit at home and go to the hospital because you've missed your shot and your sugar level is skyrocketing. Or when you have a hypo during the night and you are scared to fall asleep. Or the thought that if you are unlucky and not attentive enough, you can lose your eyesight and feet. Believe me, a year with diabetes and you become an obsessed paranoid. This is the reason why, unfortunately, my teen years are not the best ones you can imagine. I am always slightly depressed because first, I had to grow up really quick and develop a responsibility I wasn't eager to have. Imagine you are 10 years old and you need to make yourself a shot and your life depends on it. And then, lots of other diabetes patients have this problem. From one crisis to another, you realize that you are a horrible patient because you don't control it well enough. It's such a stress to see those numbers going up and down and back up again all day long. Even if any doc would tell you that you are not a horrible patient, you are just a patient, and everyone has the same struggle. However, there is also something positive. First of all, being cautious about your health brings only benefits. Then, your adaptation skill grows considerably. With all those checks and shots, I live an absolutely normal life. Do sports, go out with friends, even have a boyfriend who is aware of my state and in case I am in hypo, always carries candies for me in his pockets. And then there is another thing. I am in touch with many other patients with diabetes, and I know that we all have the same tendency. We all want to make our input into the search of universal treatment for our disease. Now I am studying hard, because my ambition is to become a biochemistry scientist somewhere in the future. That's why I say that diabetes is a bitter disease. But even so, it can make you a better, more responsible, and more determined person.